Well, curiously enough, I think that this has been dragging on for so long that many companies and individuals have, developed their adaptation strategies, and that therefore, if and when there is a break, may not be quite as dramatic as it might have been if it was prompt.
John Quelch is here. He is the Dean of the University of Miami Business School.
Let's bring in our guest, John Quelch, who is the Dean of the Miami Business School at the University of Miami.
There are going to be some winners and some losers, but fundamentally the UK and London in particular, but the UK in general, it's a pretty unique place, and a lot of people love living there. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to change overnight. And there's going to be a certain segment of the population that's going to be feeling empowered. They're going to feel as though, they're even more special than they have been. And that could be positive. All of the economists will do their analyses and say, this has got to be a negative because trade flows, investment flows, all got to be disrupted. Why would you invest in the UK as a gateway to Europe? So the fundamental econometric and economic analyses probably negative. But maybe there is something there that is likely to kind of get the juices flowing as well. And I think it really depends very much on what the political leadership is if and when the UK does finally break with the European Union. Is the political leadership going to be just kind of the same old kind of traditional monarchist, Little Englander, myopic type of leadership? Or is there time and opportunity for a new type of globalism that emanates from a single country, but by virtue of that country having a strong history, a strong legal system, a lot of people in the world want to do business with that kind of country. The history here is important because the European Union, or the European Common Market that Britain entered in the 70s, that European Common Market was an economic organization that was focused on market access and the scale efficiency of a large-size market. But what happened over time was that increasingly it became a political union rather than an economic union. And the legislation passed in Brussels that originally related to freeing up the flow of goods and capital, started getting into people's daily lives and, even into their bedrooms. And this is what I think has churned up a lot of discontent, not only in the UK but in many other European countries, along with the profligate inefficiency and excess waste and spending that seems to be associated with the European Union infrastructure in Brussels. So I think that there has been a lot of legitimate opposition that has brewed over time around the overextension of the European idea from an economic idea to a political idea. Not that, by the way, not that people at the outset of this journey were not thinking long-term about the political union as being the end game. There were many people at the front end of this who had that idea in mind. So what we're seeing now is a natural progression of an idea that started in the 1950s. There is the opportunity for someone to emerge. Now, some would say that Boris Johnson would be the person who would rise to the occasion for the second group. But there's a tremendous amount of baggage that he carries and a lot of negative views in his own party. But I think someone like that could emerge and could write a new roadmap for the United Kingdom. And I think that would be perfect and long and could be very substantial and interesting. It's probably the worst political crisis in the United Kingdom since the miners were on strike and the lights were out in London 3 days a week in the 1970s. So not since then have we seen an existential crisis that's this ugly. But a lot of people love London, a lot of people love Scotland, a lot of people love England, and investment, trade, there's resilience, wherever you go in the world, wherever there's a problem, political disruption, people still get up in the morning and they want to make money. And, that's going to be no different in the United Kingdom than anywhere else. So I'm pretty optimistic. I would just like to get the resolution so that one way or another the country can reunite around a common purpose going forward. At the moment, it's in a state of disarray.